Hi, today we're going to talk about amatonormativity. I have some notes right here written down about this, but this video might get very rambly because I have some thoughts. There's also a lawnmower in the background and I'm annoyed. What is amatonormativity? I'm going to read the definition. You can also search it up or read it on the screen if you want to. Basically, amatonormativity is the assumption that a central exclusive amorous relationship is normal for humans in that it is a universally shared goal and that such a relationship is normative and that it should be aimed at in preference to other relationship types. Let's break that down a little bit. The assumption that all humans want a long-lasting, exclusive, monogamous, romantic or sexual relationship, and that it is normal, that everyone wants it, and that it is somehow greater or more valued than all other relationships, such as friendships or family relationships. Now, this idea of amatonormativity shows up in a lot of areas, and one of the main ones is in the representation that we see, whether that's TV shows, movies, or on social media. Like, a long-term romantic relationship always seems to be the end goal, and that somehow two people breaking up is considered a sad thing even if it's better for both parties. It also manifests in our assumptions and the questions that we ask people. For example, if someone is old enough of the age that most people start dating, parents will always ask, are you in a relationship? Will you get into a relationship? If two people are friends, especially if they are opposite genders, people will always ask, do you like each other? Do you want to start dating each other? Are you guys dating? It's just as if their friendship does not exist. This also kind of like plays into heteronormativity, but that's a whole nother topic. I think this comment right here kind of sums up my sentiments about when two people of the opposite gender are friends. Honestly, everyone is pressuring them to be in a relationship, but their friendship is everything. You feel like if they date, there's no going back to being friends again. And that would be heartbreaking for both of them. Exactly, like, it's as if their friendship is not enough, or it just does not exist, or is a stepping stone for a later romantic relationship, even when they are both completely satisfied with their friendship. Now, this is harmful in a lot of different ways, and one is that it creates unnecessary unfulfillment for people who are either single or have loving friendships, because they always are told that being in a romantic relationship is the end goal and that what they have is just not enough, even when in their hearts it is, and that they don't really want anything else. Also, assuming that wanting a relationship is normal and that not wanting a relationship is not normal, it creates pressure on aromantics and asexuals who don't necessarily want to be in romantic relationships to either fit this norm or live in the belief that they are somehow not normal or weird when they're not. It also undervalues all the other relationship types that I've talked about, and it perhaps hurts people who really value all of their non-romantic relationships, that it again just creates unnecessary unfulfillment. Next, I'm gonna get into kind of my personal experience. For context, I'm pretty sure I'm asexual and somewhere on the aromantic spectrum. I don't really have marriage as like a life goal, and I more so seek fulfilling platonic relationships with people, or I enjoy being alone. Sometimes I feel a lot of pressure from my parents and the outside world to either get into a relationship, consider a relationship. I can't be friends with any guy without the underlying assumption that I somehow want a romantic relationship with him, or that I have a crush on him.
Can I not just be friends with the dude?
I'm also kind of tired of watching a lot of TV shows and movies where the romantic relationship is just always central, always in your face, and always they have to get together, even if they're not ready, or that it's toxic, or that they're better off single. and that breakups are always framed in this bad light. It's never like, good for you, okay? You grew from that relationship and you're moving on. And I just wish romantic relationships weren't so central in our representation. I'm also kind of tired of seeing people not talk about this enough, especially within the LGBTQ community. Even as someone who like fits in there by definition, I sometimes still feel excluded from most of the culture, or like I just don't relate to a lot of them just because I don't experience romantic attraction very frequently, and I don't see a lot of friendships or other types of relationship represented. Even if it's like two people of the same gender together, romantic attraction or sexual attraction is a given. I think ultimately I am just tired of being flooded and pestered with questions of romantic relationships or the concept of romance in general. I just see it everywhere, and sometimes I feel really left out when I shouldn't be, because it's like assumed, right? That people want this. It's normal. Everyone should want it. But when you don't want it, why is that seen as such a negative? Why is it that when two people are friends, it's never enough? Or that when a movie ends, when the two break up, it's always sad? Like, I don't understand, but I don't really understand why I feel so unfulfilled with my life when I really shouldn't be. If I existed without the concept of the metanormativity, and that being single or being friends with someone was completely valid, then I would feel no pressure at all from anyone to pursue a romantic relationship, because I would be satisfied with what I have, and I can pretend that some of these comments don't get to me or that I am completely satisfied. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that we should really normalize friendships, and we should normalize breaking up for the better, or being single by choice, or not always pushing like a more than friend label on two people who are just hanging out together. That's just how I have personally experienced this concept. And this is not me like trying to demonize all romantic relationships, because I do think that there is beauty in love and meaning in healthy long-term romantic relationships. I'm not trying to say like you should never pursue them, because no. What I'm trying to say is that there is just such an overemphasis on them. It ultimately just hurts everyone, even people who do want romantic relationships, because it just puts so much unnecessary pressure on them to feel happy and content after they have achieved this thing that has been claimed or showed to give you long-lasting fulfillment. Really, it's just like any other relationship that exists in the world. And I think we should be more open to the idea that we're not living our lives searching for the one. Or if you're not living your life with a partner in mind, you're not somehow less than people who are. And you are just as fulfilled, content with your life, either being single or with a great group of friends. Those are just like my thoughts right now. If you have anything to say, please leave it in the comments, because this topic is not really discussed enough, so I would love to hear your thoughts. We're opening up the discussion right now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!